Welcome to the latest edition of The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly, brought to you by the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm your host, Johnathan, aka 3-Piece Combo, and in today's segment, we're going to go over yesterday's game versus the Dallas Mavericks. Now, with only 7 games going into last night, 7 games remaining, this was one of the important games that we had to get to at least go, if we wanted to move up into that 4 or 5 position. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get the win. The team did not have Jimmy Butler, so we were going in without our leader. We kind of have this understanding that, when Jimmy's out, you might not get the best Bam game. You want him to elevate to that alpha type star, but you might not get that yet. So you have an understanding coming in. It might be more of a team effort. So coming to this game, we started off really well. We had an excellent first quarter. Everybody was firing on all cylinders. Trevor Ariza was going off. And it looked like this offense was on its way to having a full, complete Miami Heat game, right? But in the second quarter, it just all broke down. And then from there, the third quarter came, and it seemed like we might have we were going to begin to make a run in that third quarter, but did not happen. Tim Hardaway Jr. just absolutely starched us, and he tied a Dallas Mavericks record for most threes made in a game with 10. So, Timmy had a good day. I guess when he sees that jersey hanging in the rafters, it just lets him go. But we took that L yesterday. Fortunately, we didn't move in the standings. We're still sitting in the 6th seed. Still have 2 games against Boston left, so we're still going to have to see how that tiebreaker goes if we're able to win both of those games. So 6 games remaining in the season, but very important game. So let's go ahead and break this game down a little bit. As always, if there's something that I didn't talk about in the good, the bad, and the ugly, that you guys see, go ahead and leave it in the comments, and then we'll go ahead and talk about it in the ending segment of this video. So let's go ahead and start with the good. Starting with the good, there wasn't much good that you can take away from this game, but there was one person that I want to give his props to, and that guy is Duncan Robinson, because the work that he does off the ball to get himself open is just incredible. The way he runs around the floor, setting fake screens, flaring to the rim, and then getting that backdoor spot because he knows Bam will find him, or going out and just running out behind a screen and getting his open looks. It's just beautiful to watch. And what Duncan Robinson does is it's just great. And when Bam's holding the ball, I talked about this last night in the post game. When Bam's holding the ball and Duncan's out there with them, since Bam's really not going to take that shot, sometimes you'll just watch Duncan Robinson and look at the work that he does off ball. Didn't finish with the most efficient night, but still a pretty decent stat line. 19 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists as well, 2 steals. So he was doing it, had a decent game last night, and, he worked his ass off. And you have to give him his props for what he did because, for what we got from everybody else, he outworked everybody. And Duncan is definitely earning himself a contract in this offseason, just in my eyes. I think he's increasing his value. He's starting to increase his level of play. The scouting report caught up to him at the beginning of the year, and he kind of looked like he was slowing down, and now he's improved his play a little bit more. So credit to Duncan Robinson, but as far as this game goes, that's the only good. Let's go ahead and get into the bad. So starting with the bad, everything, right? Everything yesterday was not good at all. The first thing I want to think about is just the way we weren't able to rotate when we were trying to trap Luka. We were able to have him, force him into a lot of turnovers, but we were giving up the same right corner look to Tim Hardaway Jr. time after time after time. And once a shooter like that gets in a rhythm, he's like J.R. Smith. The basket just becomes 10 miles wide, and he's able to shoot it from anywhere. And that's what he was doing. Finished, like I said, with 10 3-pointers, which is ties the Dallas Mavericks franchise record. So he was hitting on all cylinders last night. Second thing I want to touch on is just still the lack of aggressive growth from Bam Adebayo, because in this type of game, this is the game that you have to take off. This is the game where you have to be aggressive. And there was some spurts. There were like a couple of times where he was dribbled the ball. He did that nice inside-out move, got to the rim, finished with a nice layup. He's able to do that on these bigger centers. So the fact that he's not doing it is just it's almost confusing, because he'll give the same response. He knows he has to be aggressive after every game, still refuses to do it. Iguodala laid it a goose egg. Wasn't the best Iguodala game. Like I said, Ariza did decent in that first quarter, and you can't blame this loss on particularly any one person, but just overall the effort as a team wasn't there. None had a slightly below average game, decent but below average. Same thing with Goran. He did decent, finished with 19 points as well, but they weren't really impactful points, and 5 of 14 from the field is not great efficiency. You know you're going to get inefficient Goran now that he's aging. So not a lot of good things from this game. Overall, you got to hope that when Jimmy Butler comes back, that this team will pick it back up, right? We have 6 games remaining in the playoff hunt to see which seed we're going to end up in and hopefully stay out of that play-in game, and then we'll see what happens from there. So let's go ahead and get into the ugly, because there's something I definitely want to address in this ugly segment. So as far as the ugly goes, the one thing I've been seeing a little bit of is that some people on Heat Nation don't think that Bam is a max player, or that he doesn't deserve this contract, or that he's a bum. If you think that, stop being a Heat fan. Just stop being a Heat fan, because you obviously don't have any brains. You live in a microwave society where you want something to happen right now and right then, and if it doesn't happen right now and right then, you hop onto the other team. So go bandwagon until another team until we make the finals again. But Bam Adebayo is a developing superstar. He is growing into one of the best players in the NBA. The stat line he's putting up right now, 20, 10, and 5, that's elite. Although he's not aggressive yet, he's still elite. Think about when he becomes aggressive. His max contract kicks in next year. So he's not really on that deal until next year anyways. He's still becoming he's a top 3 defensive player, top 1 in my mind. And he's a phenomenal, probably one of the best passing big men, second behind Nikola Jokic. And he's able to do things that Jokic can't do. Jokic can't drive and penetrate like Bam can, and has the handle that Bam has. He has maybe a little more, finesse with his game, but Bam is on his way to becoming one of the most elite players in the NBA. And if you think he doesn't deserve that contract, if you think that just because he's not aggressive, that he's not worth what he's going to get paid, you just don't know basketball, and just admit it. Just admit you don't know basketball, because it's okay not to know. But if you don't know, don't talk. That's all I'm going to say about that. So as far as Bam Adebayo goes, yeah, not the best game. Probably a rebound from one of the most meaningless triple doubles in Miami Heat history, right? And he does deserve some of the blame because he is our superstar. But to say that he doesn't deserve that contract is just idiotic. So let's go ahead and get into some of these comments, and we'll start with the comments as well. So getting into some of the takeaways from the Hornets and Cavs games, taking a look at some of the comments. We're going to start with Bully Matic. He's been saying this for a long time. Strus can ball way better than Hero, and saying that Hero is all hype. How can you say Hero is better than Strus? You crazy fam. Hero is trash. Mr. Hollywood is a joke. Like I said, I agree that Strus brings a different level of consistency to this team. I think Tyler Hero has a higher ceiling, but he also has a lower floor, because when he's not on, he's absolute garbage, probably bottom 10% of the league as far as his play, right? So, yeah, I agree with you, man. I think that we need to see more consistency out of Hero for us to tout him as a future, developing superstar, not tout him as, Dion Waiters. So we'll see how that goes out. Let's go ahead and go into Quidis's comment. Cleveland game, the role players did very well. I agree with you. Bam and Jimmy did not have to step up, so I agreed with that. The switching that allowed Poverty Wade to get the shots off. Yeah, honestly, Poverty Dean Wade from the Cleveland Cavaliers was taking off from downtown. He said he agreed with my Strus over Tyler take. And getting into the Hornets game, as far as is good, the Bam and the role players, Dedmon played phenomenally in that game. The Stinky Bad, the Charlotte announcers, yeah, I don't know what's up with those guys. I guess they try to, they sell, and you understand some hype, but you understand the Mike Breen, the Mike Breen hype, those kind of guys. But somebody like those Cleveland guys, the Charlotte guys, they just hype up every little thing. Like, they can just make a little layup and they'll just go absolutely crazy off of that. But yeah, kudos. Nice comment. I appreciate you commenting. Getting into Ayan Ali, the good beside that first quarter in Cleveland and that game over 4th in Charlotte. Yeah, we looked really good in both those games and absolutely dominant. And I agree with you. The bad defense has been lackluster, and that's kind of what been a problem in the Dallas game, and it kind of came back to bite us. So kind of something I've been talking about keeping our eye on, because I'm not a big fan of that switching defense throughout the whole game. And he says he's a little confused about if Hero and Oladipo comes back, we have a huge log jam at guard. Don't know who loses playing time. The ugly. Oh, Terry, diddly how you do? I had to mute my TV. Yeah, just find a streaming site. I don't know if I say that, but find something that you can watch the Heat broadcast on, because those guys are a lot better. But Yeah, I do agree. It's unsure who's going to get that minute drop off if Hero and Oladipo comes back. Odds of them both coming back, though, are pretty low, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Yanov said, welcome back. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for commenting. Dennis Lopez says, none VP. Man, that boy has been balling. Not the best game, like I said, against Dallas, but still a decent game overall, right? A better game than he would have given you earlier in the season. So, yeah, man, thank you guys all for commenting, as always. If there's something in this game, as far as the Dallas Mavericks games that you guys seen that I didn't talk about, if there's some trash, something in the bad that you want to, trash in the comments, go ahead and trash it in the comments and let me know, and we'll talk about it next game. If you liked the video, leave a like. If not, let me know in the comments why you didn't like it so I can do better next time for you. Thank you as always for checking out the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm your host, Johnathan, and I hope you guys have a great day.